In the mist-soaked Appalachian foothills of western North Carolina, a town called Black Hollow sat buried in fog and superstition. On the surface, it was postcard pretty. White church steeples, wraparound porches, and winding streets. But something ancient festered beneath its charm. The townsfolk knew better than to linger outside after dark, and no one spoke aloud of the thing in the well that sat on the town's edge, shrouded in vines and secrets. It was said to drink the souls of unborn children, awakened only when summoned by envy or despair. In November 2025, Sarah Mitchell, a 29-year-old expectant mother, found herself alone in a creaky farmhouse on the outskirts of Black Hollow. Her husband, Ethan, an environmental surveyor, was heading to Asheville for a week. Sarah was 7 months pregnant with their first child, a boy. And although she reassured Ethan she'd be fine, a chill settled in her bones the moment his truck disappeared into the fog. "Just remember," Ethan had said before leaving, "don't open the door at night. And if anything feels wrong, call Mrs. Greaves next door." Sarah locked the door, checked it twice, and settled on the couch, trying to ignore the unsettling stillness that filled the house. Hours later, the silence shattered. A baby's cry echoed through the house, high-pitched, desperate, familiar. Her heart thudded as she checked the nursery, empty. The sound wasn't coming from inside. It was coming from the TV. The screen buzzed with static, the cry looping over and over. Sarah hadn't turned it on. Her hand trembled as she hit the power button. The image blinked off, but a moment later, the screen lit up again, this time showing a baby with hollow eyes, its mouth agape in a silent, frozen scream. The cry came again, now mixed with a hum. Then her phone rang. "Sarah," came Mrs. Greaves' voice, sharp with fear. "There's a woman standing outside your porch. Hasn't moved in 10 minutes. Sarah's blood turned to ice. Did she knock? Number just, watching the door. Sarah peeked through the curtains. A woman stood in the mist, tall, draped in a threadbare cloak. As if sensing Sarah's gaze, the woman looked up and smiled. "I'm Mara," she called sweetly, her voice floating like fog. "Ethan sent me. I'm here to help." Sarah's instinct screamed, but the mention of Ethan weakened her resolve. Confused and vulnerable, she cracked open the door. Mara stepped inside without waiting. Her smile stretched too wide, her skin paper pale, her eyes unblinking. "I care for women like you," she cooed. "When life is growing inside, I keep it safe." She cooked, humming in an ancient tongue, filling the house with the smell of herbs and cheese. Sarah, famished and exhausted, ate. After dinner, Mara's demeanor changed. She stared at Sarah's belly. "You carry more than a child," she murmured. "You carry light. But some lights burn too brightly. They attract shadows." Sarah's hands gripped the arms of her chair. "What do you mean?" she asked. Mara leaned in, whispering, "Would you trade a soul for peace? Just one, for silence?" Sarah rose, heart pounding. "You should go." Mara only smiled again. "Keep the lamp in the window burning," she said, gesturing to an old oil lamp she had placed there. "It wards off what waits." That night, Sarah locked herself in her room. She barely slept. Her dreams were dark corridors, lined with crying infants. Something moved in the shadows, something with too many limbs, reaching for her stomach. Sorry for the interruption. If you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button below. So, let's continue the video. When she woke, the lamp was gone. The television turned on by itself. The same baby. Now it blinked. Its mouth opened wider, and it screamed. From the walls came scratching, like claws tracing runes. And then the pain began, stabbing, twisting, as if something inside her wanted out. Sarah called Mrs. Greaves, who arrived within minutes, salt and a rosary in hand. "Mara's not human," the older woman hissed after hearing the story. "She's a shade walker, a servant of the well, and she's marked your womb." They found the lamp on the porch, its flame dead, surrounded by symbols carved deep into the wood. "She used your hair, didn't she?" Mrs. Greaves asked. Sarah nodded, shaking. "She massaged my scalp, said it was calming. I felt her pull something." Mrs. Greaves paled. "It's a binding spell. The baby's soul is already half taken." Sarah collapsed as pain surged through her. "Why my baby?" she gasped. "Someone made an offering," Mrs. Greaves said. "It's always envy. Who hates what you have?" The answer hit Sarah like ice water. Emily Carter, Ethan's ex, a nurse who had lost her own child. She had given them the TV. "We have to destroy the anchor," Mrs. Greaves said, "or your baby's soul is forfeit." They hauled the TV into the backyard. Sarah screamed with every step. The screen flickered violently, the child's scream now accompanied by whispers. Mrs. Greaves drew a circle of salt and handed Sarah a match. "Do it, before it's too late." The flames roared green as the screen cracked and black smoke poured out. The wind howled like an animal. From the fog, Mara stepped forward, her form now monstrous, limbs elongated, mouth split ear to ear, teeth jagged as nails. "You've made a mistake," she growled. "He was promised." Mrs. Greaves raised her rosary. "Back to the pit, witch." Mara shrieked and dissolved into the smoke as the TV exploded into ash. Sarah dropped to her knees as the pain vanished. Her baby kicked. It was over, or so they thought. The next night, Sarah awoke to scratching beneath the floorboards. In the morning, symbols glowed faintly on the wood. They returned to the old well at the edge of town. It gaped like a throat. From within came the wail of a newborn and a whisper that chilled Sarah to her core. Still hungry, Mrs. Greaves whispered a prayer, and Sarah dropped a lock of her hair down into the darkness. The cry ceased, for now, but as they turned to leave, a child's silhouette stood in the fog, unmoving, watching, waiting. The well was only sleeping, and it would wake again. Still watching, but not subscribed? A lot of effort goes into making these videos. When you subscribe and share, it keeps me motivated to create more. So please, make sure to subscribe.